close that. Post that. Okay. Well, we'll see if anybody joins me. I don't know how long it's going to take me to do this, because I've never done this particular test before, but I've done dozens of tests, and I've tutored for many, many years, so... Anyway, I'm going through this math section tonight because it's a new test for me, and I like to go through the tests before I give them to any of the kids, and see what new stuff there is. So, hooray, let's do a new test, at least new to me, together. And I'll, explain what I'm doing along the way and make observations that could be relevant. If anybody does join and watch and has any questions, then of course I will be happy to answer any questions that people might have. We'll see if anybody joins. It's a Twitch of a guy doing a test, so not the most amazing thing to be watching on a Saturday night. But here we go. I never read the context on these things. I only just look at what's going on in the question itself. Should I try to speed run this? Okay. I wish I had viewers, because then I would take a poll. But anyway, I'm just going to explain it. I'm not going to try to speed run it. Equation represents the situation of X is the number of computers, Y is the number of books. That's the only important thing that's in there. X is computers, Y is books. So spending $1,800 on computers and books, so that gets rid of this guy, because that's the combined thing. There it is. $300 for the computers, that's all I needed, because I knew the coefficient on X had to be that. X-intercept is code for Y equals 0. So 8x equals 24, and x, of course, is 3. These two lines appear to be parallel, and if the two lines are parallel, that means they have the same slope in the format ax plus by equals c. The slope is opposite of a divided by b. So that's all I'm going to do. Don't care about anything else. These two have the same values, so that's probably it. Just going to double check to see if anything else comes out the same. It does not appear that it would. -3 over -2, yep. -3 over -2. Positive, yep. Yeah, it has to be A. Hello, one viewer. I don't know if there actually is a viewer, but anyway. Next question, again, appears to be linear in nature, but they're just looking for us to rearrange it. A equals, so you just start algebraically shuffling stuff away. Okay, A equals 10 minus NB, just subtract that over as a unit. Divide by K, we get A equals all that over K. So K is in the denominator. This also has K in the denominator, but I think that's a decoy because everything gets divided by K. So that 10 not having the denominators trying to be tricky. The next one here, let's see, function P or F, who cares? What is Jack's pulse when his speed is 0? So that's here. It's basically the y-intercept. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, it is single-digit intervals. Always check the interval on this stuff. You can't assume that the scale is going to be consistent or consistent with what it appears to be. So always check. So 64, 63, yeah. Right angle. What is the measure of DFE? So they say we're looking for a measure of the angle, so the side ratios don't actually matter. Who cares? Similar triangles have congruent angles, so the side length is a decoy. They do that quite a bit. DE corresponds to AB, so D C, D, E, F, yes. So what is the angle DFE? That's this one here. So 90 and 37, these have to add to 90 as well. So that is 53. Good old exponent question here. They're looking for just a conversion of that. The denominator is the power of the root. Nothing is negative, so that's that. This would only occur if it was g to the negative 4/5 rather, times h to the negative 2/5. So that one is a decoy by flipping it over. The exponent is negative on that guy. I have a new stylus. Let's see if it will flip to eraser mode. No, I need to set that up. But yeah, gotta know your exponents. Next one here is simply factoring. These have various degree measures on them. So yeah, just straight up factor it like you would normally. Might end up having a difference of squares or something on it, but let's see. X squared minus 9. Yeah, x squared minus 9, and those are difference of squares. X minus 3, x plus 3, and then that's the factorization there and there, so these end up being squared. They've used that question before, it was just different numbers. I wonder if I can find it. Let's see, the 1903 did that? I think. They've used that question before. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. It's not exactly the same, but it's very similar. What's going on? That is highly bizarre. Come on, erase. Anyway. Oh, weird. Why did that jump all the way to the end? My computer waiting out. Oh no. There we go. Okay. Phew. 19 March. Okay. There. So this is a similar kind of question here. X squared plus 8x plus 16 to the 1/4 power. You factor that out, you get x plus 4, which is x plus 4 squared, raised to the 1/4. You multiply the exponents and you get 1/2. So you can see how that's kind of similar. Let's see if, I think maybe the 1904 did one that's maybe a bit more similar. My tests aren't loading properly. That's weird. It's a little alarming. Well, let's just wait for the tests to load. There we go. There we go. Come back. Well, while we wait, does anybody in the chat have any questions? If there is indeed anybody in the chat. Any things that you'd like to take a look at? Ah, here we go. We're back. All right, so let's continue on. Computers, what are you going to do? All right, so clearly an exponential function, all the answers have x in the exponent. One of the first things that I teach these kids that I work with is name the type of equation that you're working with. And so this is an exponential function, has a y-intercept at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So y-intercept at 2. So we know the leading coefficient is 2. So these are out. Because whenever x is 0, oh, actually that narrows it down to b. We're done. Didn't even have to find the rate of growth. Because when x is 0, this drops to 1. This would be 3. This would be 1. That clearly has a y-intercept of 2, because 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And if you know that, then boom, you're done. Again, what I teach these kids who come to me is that they have to memorize these functions. Y equals a times 1 plus or minus r raised to the x, where a is the beginning value and r is the rate of growth. Yeah, it's just something worth memorizing. You can see how easy it becomes. Solution to the given equation. So this is an absolute value thing. I'm tempted to just plug the answers in, because trying to solve a double-sided absolute value is a little complicated, more complicated than I think I would want to. And knowing that it's an SAT, let's start with the negatives, because odds are it's going to try to be tricky that way. Negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4. Absolute value is 4. Negative 6 minus 8 is negative 14. Absolute value is 14, so that clearly does not work. I wonder if it doesn't like me clicking on the new stylus. I wonder if that was the issue. But anyway. Negative 3. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. Absolute value is 1. Negative 3 minus 8 is negative 11. Clearly that does not work. Alright, so 5 is 3 plus 2. 3 minus 8 is negative 5, so yeah, that one. It only needs to work once. There's only ever one correct answer. Skipping all the context, which the following describes the translation. So the vertex is 0, 0. So this is vertex form. Again, memorize the formulas. So we got the vertex here is negative 5, negative 8. So this, to get the translation of the vertex to 0, 0, it needs to go right 5 and up 8. Negative x direction, no. 5 units to the positive x direction, 8 units in the negative y, no. Must be D. Which of the following statements is true about the equation? Fine, whatever. Has one solution, so let's identify the equation before we even read any of that. This is a linear function. Combine like terms real quick just to make it easier. 8x minus 2, 3x, 12x, 8x. That's 12x minus 10, that's plus 2. So these are parallel lines. Has no solution because they have the same slope and different y-intercepts. So they've reversed what they usually do. What they usually do is they'll tell you in the question that it has no solution or infinite solutions or exactly one solution or that they're perpendicular. They've kind of flipped the script on this one. I kind of like that. I don't know that I've ever seen a question like that before. Not to recent memory anyway. So just to verify my math, 8x minus 2, 3x, and 5x is 8x, 12 minus 10 is indeed positive 2, so yeah, I'm pretty confident with D. Let's see. The next thing is parabola. Just gonna check one thing. Just bear with me. Nope. Oh well. Okay. It's a linear function. No, it's not a linear function. Number 13 here, it's a quadratic, again in vertex form. The a value is 1/4, so moving here, going over 1, yeah, I'll explain that if necessary. The vertex is negative 4, negative 5. What's the value of b? So, okay, this is testing points of symmetry. So if b, oh, ooh, it's not a point of symmetry. Usually they will keep the y value constant, but they didn't here. This is kind of fun. All right, what do we got? What do we got here? We have the a value is now the x value. I think the only way to do this is to plug in -10 and find out what a is. If anybody has a slick way of doing this, let me know. Post it on Reddit or something. Because the only way that I can think to do this is to just crunch the numbers. So let's do it over here. 1/4. -10 plus 4 is -6. -6 squared is 36. Minus 5. So 36 over 4 is 9. 9 minus 5 is 4. So a is 4. A is 4. So we plug it back in. And we can get b. So 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 squared is 64. 64 divided by 4. Off the top of my head is, I think, 16. Yeah. Minus 5 is 11. Tricksy. Usually that's kind of a symmetry question, but it didn't end up being that way. Just had to crunch the numbers. The next one here is quadratic equation. And we know this is quadratic equation because these answer choices have a square root in them. It's a constant term plus a square root. Remember that the quadratic equation is opposite b plus and minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So make sure you have this memorized. The quadratic equation comes up time to time. And it has that format. Notice it's got a constant and a square root being added to it. That's kind of like the numerator here. So let's go ahead and just jam the values in here. So b is 12. -12, so the opposite of that is 12. That gets rid of our negatives right away. We only care about the plus version. B squared is 144 minus 4 times a times c. 4 times 23. Let's see, that's going to be 92, I think. It's hard to do in your head. 25 times 4 is 100 minus 8, yeah, 92. I can explain what I did there if you want. You'll have to find me and ask later. So divided by 2a just divides by 2, and because it's divided by 2 and there are no denominators on this, we can safely assume that it's 6, because 12 over 2 is going to reduce, and I can pretty darn safely assume that whatever this is going to reduce to root 13. Don't actually do the math if you don't have to. Only do as much as is necessary to get to the answer. Because we've already eliminated all the others, and we know it's going to reduce the 12, because 12 over 2 reduces. We can separate that, 12 over 2 plus the square root of whatever that is, 52. Something like that, yeah, 52 over 2. We can assume this is going to reduce to square root 13. We don't actually have to do it. Don't bother. Circle equations, always name what you're doing. Looks like we just want to get this in the circle. Okay, so the center of the circle is 0, 10, what? 10? Okay, so that's a vertical, not a vertical, that's a horizontal line, because the y values are the same. So the center of it's going to be on that same horizontal, -3, 10, 0, 10, and 3, 10. So knowing that it's 0, 10, the answer is A, because nothing else had it, unless I'm looking at that wrong. No, I don't think I am. It is late at night here. Finally, a system of equations. Goodness, they took their time getting to this one. They do these all the time. I'm surprised it only showed up now. Solution, so elimination is almost always the best way to go on these. They want the value of x, so let's get rid of y, multiply by 3, multiply by 2, we get 4x plus 6y equals 4. 3x minus 6y equals 24. add them together because adding will cancel the y's. We get 7x equals 28, and x is 4. So the answer there is 4. Let's go on. We've got a linear function defined there. Where does f of x equal 30? This is just chugging and going. 30 equals 2/5 x plus 10. Subtract the 10, multiply by 5, divide by 2. So that's 20 times 5 over 2. Reduce is 10, that's 50. 50. Make that look a little neater. Don't do as much as I do in my head. Do write your steps out. So minus the 10 is 20. You're going to multiply by 5 and divide by 2. That's where this came from. And I reduce, always reduce before you multiply. If you can reduce the terms before you multiply it, then you're going to be in really good shape. Yeah, I would recommend that pretty solidly. The next one, office building has room for who cares about the context? Okay, so it's a proportions thing. Okay, the length is 90 times the length. The area is p times the area. It's a square shaped. That's what I was missing there. So if this is L on the blueprint, the reality of it is 90L. The area here is L squared. Here it's 90L squared. So what's 90 squared? That's what? Jesus. 8100? Is that the answer? I suppose it might be. So that's what I'm put, 8100, because that's 90 squared. And the L squareds would cancel out. If you want to see the algebra behind that, you'd say it's P times the area of the floor blueprint. So the blueprint is L squared, so P times L squared equals 90 squared times L squared, and the L squareds cancel off. So P is 90 squared, which I believe is 8100. Yeah, that's what I'm going to put. I think I have an answer key to this. Quadratic function, A and C are constants. What is the value of A? Okay, cool. They've been testing this a little bit more frequently. I think all of the 2020 exams had this, maybe some of the 2021 exams, where they're testing on the rate of growth on a quadratic. This has come up somewhat more frequently, and I hadn't seen it until last year. But this is a pretty easy thing to calculate. You can just go 1 unit over on the x, and however much it goes up on the y gives you the a value. But they didn't give us 1 unit of translation. They gave us 2 units of translation. 2 to the right and 2 to the left. So it goes over 1 up by a, over 2 up by a squared. So a squared equals 1. Is that right? No, that feels wrong. Let's do this the chunky way. Let's do this just jamming in the numbers. Let's build a system of equations out of it. I'm going to use 0, 2, and 2, 3. So 2 equals a, or so C is 2. Yeah, we could tell that right away because the y-intercept is the C value. So ax squared plus 2 equals y. Let's plug in 2, 3. So plug in 2 here, 3 there. So that's 4a plus 2 equals 3. Subtract, we get 1 equals 4a. A is 1/4. Yeah, I knew that felt wrong. I gotta come up with a generalization for how to find that a value just by the translation of it. But anyway, so a is 1/4. And we're done. 1/4. We're done with the section. So let's go ahead and snag the answer key. Get the snip tool here. What do we need? We need the no calculator. Get out of here. Whoop. 8100 turned out to be right. Let's see how we did. And I finished in time too, even explaining it and taking all that time to be chatty and check other tests. Just goes to show that it doesn't have to be a drudge. So A, D, C, B, D, number 8, B, number 9, B, C, 11, D, yeah, 12, D, 13, C, 14, D, A, 4, oh, wait a minute, I skipped 17, alright, so this one's silly, okay, it didn't even register in my brain. Subtract the 9n, you get 3 equals 6n, divided over, and n is 1/2. Yeah, whoops. Yes, so 17 is 1/2, 50, 8100, and 1/4. Okay, good. Whew. Cool. Let's go right ahead and do the calculator part. I'm going to go ahead and boot up a calculator. I'm going to try to be a little less chatty. It's 11 o'clock at night, and I'm going to try to be in bed by midnight. So I'm going to leave my calculator off on the other screen and only use it if I actually need it. So let's, without any further ado, let's go ahead. Since I've already talked my way through the no calculator part, I'm just going to speed run the calculator section because I'm tired. I want to get to bed. So here we go. Buckle up. Piece of information sufficient to prove that the parallel lines have all these properties to them with their figures. Let's go ahead and change to a rainbow pen. Why not? Rainbow pen. So if I can prove that x and z are supplementary, or y and z are equal, so that's congruent. That congruency tells us that they're parallel. W equals y doesn't matter. W equals 90 doesn't matter. X equals 90 doesn't matter. It has to go across the two angles. What is the difference between the predicted? Predicted is on the line of best fit, and the actual is the data point in 2001. That is this dot here, and this point here, so that was on 72. That is on 76, so that is a difference of 4. Solution to the given, I mean, it's, really? Okay. What is the minimum cost for professional review of Ewan's manuscript? Minimum cost per. He writes 30 manuscripts and wants to get them published. What is the minimum cost? So cost per for a professional review. So the minimum is $250. So 250 times 30. 25 times 3 is 75. I'm just going to verify that on the calculator real quick. Yeah. Sometimes I like to double check. Which of the following graphs could represent the relationship between the number of manuscripts and the cost for acquiring ISBNs? We're doing the minimum. What are we doing? Oh, it's all 125 anyway, so it doesn't matter. So that's the cost per manuscript, so 125 is the slope. They all have the correct y-intercept at 0, so they're not doing anything funky there. And if they have a slope of 250, that means at 1 they should go through 250. Only one of them does that. Hooray. Yeah. Population of algae initially, who cares? 375% of its original area. Covered after this period of time. So probably B, because percentages can be represented moving the decimal over twice. Population of algae initially covered. Usually, okay, yeah, the initially covered is X. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. How many calories of fat are in one serving? Calories and fat is 30%, so this is ultimately a percent. So 0.3 times 203. I'm going to bust out the calculator again on this one. 0.3 times 203 is 60.9, and this is an approximation, so 61. Total cost to make a batch of soup is $20. What is the approximate cost per calorie? Cost per calorie. Cost per calorie. That's dollars over calories. So 20 over 203. Making me use my calculator again. How dare you? 0.09. Oh, in cents. Huh. 2,000 cents. 9.8. X satisfies the given equation, so you've got an x plus 1 and x plus 1, cancel them out, you get 1 equals 2? Buh? Well, that's not true. Try again. Just do this the hack way. X plus 1 equals 2x plus 2. Subtract it over, we get negative 1 equals x. Just because I'm feeling weird. Negative, yeah, that'll end up being 0 equals 0. Yeah, and I should have known better. If they cancel off 0, the 0 of that term is a solution. Let's keep going. Y-intercept of the line. Really? Okay, this feels too easy. What is going on? Change of 2 over 1. Yeah. Man, they made this test too easy, didn't they? I hope the reading is harder. I haven't done the reading yet. Speed is 60 meters per second is equivalent to z meters per minute. So 60 meters per 1 second is equivalent to how many meters per second? So, or meters per minute. So to convert this to minutes, multiply by 60 seconds in 1 minute. So the seconds cancel, and 60 times 60 is 3,600. Linear and exponential functions, which of the following is correctly compares E and V? They've asked this question before. They're getting just as bad as the ECT. Come on, guys. Get more creative with your questions. All right, for this one, I'm not going to use the rainbows. Sorry. All right. So we have a linear function with a negative slope and a y-intercept at 1800. This also has a y-intercept at 1800, and it's a exponential decay, so it's going to come in like this, probably. Let's draw that a little bit more elegantly. So and something like that. I don't know quite where that point of intersection is going to be. So for sure they intersect here, and then the exponential is probably going to be lower than the linear for the time until they intersect again. So if you have a graphing calculator, you can totally just chunk this into your graphing calculator and see exactly what's going on. But it cannot be true that E is always less than V. It's not true there either. For between 0 and 9, I think I like C. Particular car after T years. I'm going to find 85% of 18,000. If I do that, I get 15,300. So the exponential function is less than the linear function, because that would just be 16,000. And so the linear is indeed less than. But if I go greater than 9, so 9 times 2,000, well, that's the x-intercept. That's the x-intercept. So that would put E, that would put it down here with the 9. So what is 0.85 to the 9th? And then times 18,000. Yeah, I think I've got this right, because this will still have some value left in it. E is greater, but eventually becomes less than. Yeah, I think that must be it. You do this stuff enough times and you get an instinct for stuff like that. I didn't know it would be exactly that way, but that's why I test things out. And you guys got to do the same. Okay, this is pretty straightforward. Probability that the selected item will be in category 3. So one type C item selected at random. That's our denominator, so that's 48. And category 3 is our numerator, 19 out of 48. Which of the following is best interpretation of x plus 2? 2 boxes of pens, some boxes of black, each box has 10 pens. So x plus 2 is the number of boxes total, because x is blue pens, x is the black pens and 2 is the blue pens, so these are the boxes, and 10 times that is the total number of pens. So it's the number of boxes of each pen, all the pens, not just blue, not just black. Linear functions again, slope of 1/2, that's all of you. Goes through 6, 4, so just jam it in, there's really nothing else you can do. Half 6 plus 4, yeah, okay. So that's A, yeah. So 1/2 of 6 is 3, plus 1 is 4. It only has to work once. These look like that class, even before I read it, they've asked questions that look like this, where x is like a side length and 6 minus x or something like that is another side length. I bet it's area. Just glancing at it, I see the word area, yeah. So shaped like a rectangle, length is 6, x is the width, put that to be x, and this is x plus 6, then the area, of course, is that one. They ask this stuff always. How many solutions? It'll absolute value only equals 0. If it has a vertical shift, it'd have 2 solutions, but this does not. This is going to look like this. So 1, -3. Yeah. Ooh, are you going to be standard deviation question. They haven't asked this for a while. Nope, no standard deviation. Okay, it seems like they've done away with standard deviation. Go figure. Distributions, which is the following must be true. The minimum value of the data set A is greater than the minimum. No, the minimums are the same. So the bar here represents the minimum, the bar here, the extremities of the whiskers represent your minimums and maximums. The quartiles are here, so this is the first quartile for each one, second, third, and fourth. The range is the same for both. Has more data values? No, we can't know that. The median, that is what we can know. I don't even care what it says about the median, it's the only one that we can know for sure. Certain types, who cares? If an aircraft weighs that much, which the following is close to the thrust? Feels like a proportion. Yep, ratio is 27 to 100. Thrust to weight, they give us the weight, 373,000 to x. Multiply that over, oof, glad thing this thing is in the calculator part. 373,000 times 27 over 100. Naturally cancel off two of the zeros and bust out the good old calculator. 373,000 times 27. So, which is the closest? That one. Yeah, pretty sure. No, we went out of order there. That's okay. Don't have to go in order. Winning team blah, blah, blah. After the fourth round of the tournament, each game is played between two teams. Each team plays one game in the first round. For all rounds, the winning team of each game advances to the next round. So there's 64 teams. So all the teams play one game in the first round. So in the first round, all 64 teams are in play, but only half of them advance, because you have to have one winner and one loser, right? That says that doesn't say there are any ties. So our first round has 64 players. So this is like at the beginning of round one, at the end of round one, we have 32 teams, then 16, then 8, then 4, then 2, then 1, of course. So end of round 1 is here, round 2, round 3, round 4. How many teams remain to play in the fourth round? So plays in round 2, plays in round 3, plays in round 4. So plays in round 1, plays in round 2, plays in round 3, plays in round 4. Yeah, because that's the end of round 3. Yeah, end of round 1, end of round 2. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going with it. I think I did that right. It's translated 2 units to the right, so that would be negative 1/2 x plus 2 plus 3, a 2 unit translation to the right. Put it in the parentheses. Now to find the new y-intercept, we're going to have to distribute that 1/2, negative 1/2 x minus 1 plus 3. So that'll become plus 2, and there's our new y-intercept. Gotta memorize some stuff. Alright, we're about halfway through, I think. Or more than halfway through. Hooray, data set. Standard deviation, hooray, there it is. Which of the following describes the relationship with standard deviation of R and S? Look at the scale. The scales are the same. This has a wider variation. So this has the greater standard deviation. Nope. Nope. Yep. Nope. That doesn't make any sense. Quadratic, I bet we're just graphing it. It has a vertex of 18, 15, 36, so that one. Yep. Doesn't say to translate or anything like that. Who cares about context? Just get the vertex and boom, you're done. Negative, yeah, everything else is pretty much doing it, right? What is the minimum data value in the data set? Data values, 10. That was kind of a weird question. All right. What? Why would they even ask that? That's such a weird question. They made the test easier. This is like way easier than usual. What date is this from? Oh, this is the international test. I wonder if just the international tests are easier. Huh. Alright, whatever. Which interval will the median price of books for sale be included when the book costs at least 35 but less than 40? At least 35 and less than 40. So that's this category. The first bar represents less than that. The second does that. In which interval will the median price of books be included? What? So there are 27 books. Okay. That is a really difficult to parse phrase. So, in which interval will the median price of the books for sale be included when the book that costs that much is sold? So we're selling this book. This is bye-bye. So in which interval will the median be when this is sold? So where's the median? There are now 26 books, and in an even set of data, you have to take the average of the two middles. But a set of 26 items, from item 1 to 26, there are 13 over here and 13 over here, so the 13th and the 14th item. So 9, the 13th and the 14th item fall in this column, and I don't think it would have made a difference to even keep that book in there anyway. Another linear function has no solution, means the same slope. Oh, no. Same slope, but different y-intercepts. This has the same y-intercept, so that's out. Same slope, different y-intercept for no solution. Exponential function, always name it. 0.5 is the rate of decay. No. Proportion of strength that remains after 29 years. Yes. Not the number of grams, it's the rate. No. Exponential function over here again. Y-intercept is about 10 or so. X is 2, so times 4. X is 8. Yeah, that tracks. X is 4 to the 4th. Yeah, that tracks. But you could do it just from the y-intercept. You know, the y-intercept again is when x is 0. So that's way too low. That's way too low. This even still is probably way too low. And the rate of growth is way off on that one. 2 times 5 to the x. Yeah, no. 5 squared is 25. 2 times 5. This should already be at 50 here. Yeah, for that one. Circle again. Which one is on the circle? They're all 3's, just jam it in, man. So 3 plus 3 is 6, squared is 36, plus y minus 7 squared equals 100. Y minus 7 squared. Notice I'm not going to expand this. Is 64. Square root now. Y minus 7 equals 8. Y is 15. Is not in there. Well, shoot. Do we have to? Oh, wait, hold on. Come back. When we square rooted, plus and minus, so y equals 15 if 8 is positive, or if 8 is negative, y equals negative 1. There we go. Only expand the binomial if you really, really have to. Alright, 8 more to go. Doing the calculator part in 30 minutes. Hooray. Less than 30 minutes. Rectangle has an area. The length and the width are 3 times, what is the area? Okay. Probably whatever 64 times 9 is my guess. So if this is A and B, and that has an area of 64, rectangle B here has 3A and 3B, so that's going to be AB squared, or A times B equals 64. 9AB is our area that we care about. Yeah, so just 9 times 64. Calculator, 64 times 9 is 576. 576. One digit positive integer chosen at random. Okay, there are 9 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Probability of the chosen integer will be greater than 7. 7, 8, 9. Greater than 7 is 8 and 9, so there are 2 out of 9. Linear system, 10x minus y. If I add this together, we get 10x minus y. 5x and 5x is 10x. 3y minus 4y is minus y. Add that together, you get 48, and that's your answer. They love doing crap like that. So they say this is equivalent to that. Who cares? This stuff where it says B is a constant, A is a constant, constant. I get kids asking me all the time about that constant nonsense, and it doesn't friggin' mean anything. Stop focusing on that. It doesn't help. It just means it doesn't change. It doesn't do anything. You guys get hung up on it. It annoys the crap out of me. Alright. So this clearly is a factoring question because you got the same term there and there, so let's factor it. Instead of factoring, let's go ahead and push this through. They say it's equivalent, and then you're going to just make the coefficients the same. I already see it. I see what they're doing here. So 3xy squared when you distribute that, and then you get 9xy. You see what's going on here? 9xy, 9xy. So if this is xy squared, then b is 3. B is 3. Percentage of 10 classifications that have 11 more elements is, so number of elements 11 or more. 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 10. Is 40%. So 40. They want it as a percentage. Percentage of the 10 classifications that have 11 or more elements. Yeah, percentage of the classifications, not percentage of the elements. Yeah, this seems too easy. Non-metals classified as a halogen. The ratio of all non-metals to all elements is 10 to k. What is the value of k? So non-metals to all elements. All elements is 118. Non-metals is halogen noble or other. Halogen noble or other. So that's 20. So 20 over 118. Cross multiply. I caught somebody the other day trying to cross cancel over an equal sign. No, don't do that. So 1,180 equals 20k. Divide 1,000 or 118 divided by 2 is 59 equals k. It is the calculator part. Let's verify that. 180 divided by 20. Yeah. 2 more, then we're done. Calculator part in 30 minutes or less. What was the greatest average change in wind speed in miles per hour? Miles per hour per hour. Cool. Miles per hour between 2 readings shown on the graph. The greatest average change. So I want the steepest slope, essentially. That is either this slope here or this slope here, just eyeballing it. So vertical change there is 10, horizontal is 2, so the slope there is 5. Vertical change here is 8 over 2 is 4. So the greatest average change is 5. Yeah, nothing else really had it. It says 2 readings. It doesn't say 2 consecutive readings. I'm going to be real pissed if they wanted me to go here to here and get 14 over 4, 7 halves. If it's 7 halves, I'm going to be real pissed. Greatest average change in miles per hour between 2 readings shown in the graph. It doesn't say between 2 consecutive readings, so I would accept this as the answer. Usually they're really good about that, but they didn't say consecutive. Alright, we'll see what the answer key says. This one, they say it's perpendicular, so opposite reciprocal slope. Positive 1/2 x plus b. We don't know what that is. Okay, yep. It goes through -3, 1, so just jam it in. -3 plus b equals 1. That's -3 halves plus b equals 1. Add that over. 1 plus 3 halves is 5 halves. And that's the value of b, because that's in the y-intercept position. Alright, let's, I think my snip, yep, no, I only had the no calculator part, so let's go snip calculator section. Boop. Let's see how I did. Zoom out just a touch, so to clear that out. Alright, here we go. D, C, D, A, B, D, C, D, A. Ooh, number 5? I missed one, oh no! Oh, am I a dummy? Ah, the slope is 125, not 250. Yeah, obviously. Slope is 125, so 125, 250. Yeah, obvious. Just goes to show you can't go too fast. 6 B A B triple A D B A oop A D. All right, let's check this one. $20 cost per calorie. So there's 100 pennies in a dollar, so that's 2,000 cents per calorie. Oh, in the batch. 3. Don't go too fast on this stuff. So 2,000 divided by 6 divided by 203 is 1.64, so A. Ay. That's embarrassing. 8 is A. 10D, 11C, 12D, 13C. This is also why I like to go through these first before teaching them with any kids, is because I get these embarrassing things out in private. And I don't embarrass myself in front of a student. 15B, 16, ADBDB, ADBDB. Gosh darn it. It did. Alright. Well, I'm not on my game today. So, translated 2 units to the right. +2? That's a left translation, and I even may have said that it was a left translation. So 1/2 translation to the right 2. Ay. So that's -1/2 x plus 1 plus 3. So it shouldn't be that, it should be that, you freaking idiot. Hey, learn from my mistakes. Don't go so fast that you're making stupid little errors like that. 23 CB, AB, CB, CB, AB, CB, CB, thank God. 576, 2/9, 48, 6. Fuck, I did it again. There's a 2y there. 2 times 3 is, of course, 6. Going so fast. This is what you get for doing tests at nearly midnight. 40, 59. The answer was indeed 5. They should have said consecutive, between 2 consecutive readings. I would dispute that answer if I were you guys. 38, 5/2. Well, shit. How many did I miss? 1, 2. Where's 2? 2. 3, 4. I missed 4 in there. God damn. I usually don't miss it. Any. I should stop doing this stuff at the end of a work day. Still 750. Not bad. Alright. Very generous curve on the reading, so that tells me that probably is a pretty tough reading section. I've already done the first 3 passages. And I've been perfect on them so far. So maybe I'll make another stream and do passages 4 and 5, but not tonight. I'm too tired. Obviously not on top of my game. I'm missing 4 friggin' stupid questions, not reading the batches, not reading the numbers correctly. Right translation, stupid. Alright, learn from those mistakes. Do make sure that you're identifying what it is that you're being tested on. Thank you for watching. I hope to occasionally do these streams. I will drop notifications in Twitch, or not in Twitch, in Reddit when I do. So hopefully whoever sees this benefits from it. Thanks for watching. Or not watching. Whatever.